Hello again, everyone. Scoons Comics here with another exciting, oh so thrilling comic book haul. Yes, how is everybody? Y'all doing okay? Everybody well, I hope. Everyone's family's well, I hope. We're inside. Been inside a while now. That's okay. We're all making the best of it. We're watching all the shows. We're reading all the things. We're looking out the window, watching the neighbors walk by and going, "What the heck's that neighbor wearing? That's weird." Anyway, my comics are a mess, people. They're a mess. Between the giant comic book collection I bought, stuff from previous Comic-Con I went to and I bought like 100 and some books, and a couple trips to local comic shops and half-price books before everything shut down completely, I got books everywhere, and I'm starting to forget where I got certain things. So while I still have more comics to show from the giant comic shop buyout, I'm going to switch it up this time, get back to some more of the things that I usually collect and enjoy. And so I'm trading Silver Age, Golden Age books. No, we don't need any of that. You guys don't want that. What you want is Alpha Flight #1. From 1998, I believe. I didn't write the year down. 97? Oh, yeah. This was just half-price books, I remember. It was like $1. I didn't have the first issue of Alpha Flight. I remember this getting some buzz when it first came out, so I was like, I'll pick up the first issue. And then I was super excited, because now they had the first issue and the last issue of Alpha Flight. I like to collect last issues. I stole that gimmick from Read Comics 81, great YouTuber who's just now come back and started posting videos again. Welcome back, Reed. Thank you. But he likes to collect last issues of series. I like to collect them because usually there's a letter page in there or some kind of comment from the editor saying goodbye or explaining what happened. I love when it's abrupt. I love when it's the last issue of a series and it's abrupt and they're like, no next issue. Sorry, everybody. But the adventures will continue somewhere down the line. And you're like, what? What happened? But anyway, the final issue of Alpha Flight. I have the whole run of the Kazar 97 series, but I didn't have this annual. So this is Kazar, annual from 97, written by Brian K. Vaughan. Brian K. Vaughan, a fantastic writer. Did a few random things for Marvel, so I was really excited to pick this up and see how he took on Kazar. It's a fun story. I like this book a lot. And then while I already do have this, you know what? I said I had the whole run of Kazar. I lied. I have the Mark Waid run of Kazar. When Mark Waid did the book, I really enjoyed that. So I stopped after he was off of it. But this is the final issue of the series, issue number 20. Final issue of Kazar. These last issues are fun to collect because usually the print runs are lower, so a little bit harder to find. So that was cool. And you know, a series that I've never really gotten excited about except for like the Jack Kirby covers is the Defenders. I don't know why. I've got a few issues. I've got the Avengers Defenders crossover books, which are cool. I like that whole run. But I just don't have a lot of Defenders comics for some reason. But here's the last issue, 152 of the Defenders. Cool. I like to have last issues. The X-Force and X-Static series, drawn by Mike Allred, is one of my favorites. I love his art. I love his storytelling. And I thought I had this issue, but I couldn't find it in my collection. So when I found this at half price, I was really excited to pick it up for $1. X-Static number 21, featuring the Avengers. I love Who's Mulk? Mike Allred's Avengers. Just very Silver Age inspired, very cool looking. It just always makes me happy. And then I don't know where I got this is the comic show or at half price or where, but here's the last issue of X-Static, number 26. Very excited to have the final issue. Here's a book I've actually looked for quite a while. I like the 2099 series from Marvel, that line of books. And X-Men was a book that I couldn't really get into. I tried. I read the first 6 issues. I remember when it came out originally, and I was like, nah, it's not hitting with me. But I'll pick up issues here and there. And here's the last issue, number 35 of X-Men 2099. Look at that. Ugh. That's some ugly characters right there, but Right on, last issue. All right. So I like getting the oddball variants. I like those DC Universe books that have the DC Universe logo. Here's a series of variants, or here's the first variant like this that I found out in the wild. I just found out about these not too long ago. During the 0 Hour event at DC Comics back in 1994, they reprinted books and put them in collections for the secondary market, your Toys R Us's, Walmart, CVS, things like that. And the way you know they're different, okay, so here's the regular direct edition issue of number 3 of 0 Hour. So we got the barcode. But then you got this issue, which has this weird little symbol, which was the symbol for the 0 Hour event. I had no idea there were variants like this. I don't know a whole lot about them, but they exist. I don't know how many there are. So this is the first one I've seen out in the wild, this little 0 Hour variant. I'm on the lookout now. I've toured back through my own collection a little bit, and I didn't find that I had any, but that's a cool thing to have. So again, there's the regular and the variant. As of right now, those things aren't worth any more to me, but it's cool, right? Oh, I've wanted this stupid book for years, and I wanted to find it in a dollar bin, and I finally did it at Half Price Books. The Question number 17, which is the first appearance of Rorschach in a regular DC comic book, Rorschach of Watchmen fame. I wanted this book forever. Found it for $1.50. Very excited to have it. Plus, The Question is just a great character and a cool series. I found a couple Phantom books recently. Not a character I quite understand or really... I couldn't tell you the best Phantom stories. But I love Chuck Dixon's writing, and he did a couple of these issues for Moonstone Press. Here's the Phantom number 9 by Chuck Dixon. And the Phantom 10, The Ghost That Walks. And then I found the annual, and I picked that up just because it was also $1, and yeah. Nothing makes me happier when I see something like this. It's like a $6.50 original price tag, and I found it for $1. That makes me happy. Man, I'm on the hunt for the newsstand version of this, and I think everyone who collected comics in the 90s has this issue, and this next issue too, but I found this at Half Price Books for $1.50, and I was super excited about it. Really high grade, Spawn number 1. Classic 90s fun, Todd McFarlane at his finest. Cool. God, thinking about it now, I had a Spawn t-shirt that I wore in high school. I was cool. And then Spawn number 9, first appearance of Angela. I know this was a hot book a minute ago before Marvel bought when Marvel bought the character, but there's like 6 trillion copies of this. And I think everyone has this book in their collection, even if it's by accident. You just have this book. I don't know why. I had no idea this book existed, and it made me so happy to find it. Nexus meets Madman, 2 of my favorite independent characters. Mike Barton and Steve Rude's Nexus, Mike and Laura Allred's Madman. Oh, that's pop fun. Look how pretty that is. That's like an Alex Ross cover, I believe. Just, pick that up. If you can find this, grab it. I spec'd on this book. I don't usually speculate on comics, but in theory, the Black Widow movie is coming out someday. And I found issue 1 of the Max series from back in the 2000s. Black Widow number 1. I think I got this from Half Price Books. Half Price Books has been good to me. Well, not lately, but in the month before it closed because of the evilness. I found some good stuff, and this was one of them. Greg Horn, great cover artist, makes some pretty ladies on his cover. Very cool to have. And then I found these at Half Price, I remember. The Eternals. Look at this. Jack Kirby, Bronze Age goodness. Eternals number 9. And Eternals 14. I love it. Jack Kirby drawing the Hulk again. Oh, perfect. Or the... he wasn't going to draw the same characters that he drew. That was like part of his arrangement when he came back to Marvel in the 70s. So they got around that. They wanted to try to boost the sales on the Eternals. So he's fighting a Hulk robot. Why there's a Hulk robot, I don't remember for reasons, but it's Jack Kirby drawing of the Hulk for all extensive purposes. Here's a book that just made me remembering my early days of comic collecting. War Machine #1 from the 90s. Look how shiny and metallic that cover is. Ooh, 90s. Like it. And then I also found this one in the cheap. I think this was at the Comic-Con in like the cheap men's for like, $5 for $1. This guy sells these books. But he had the first issue of Doctor Strange, the Mark Waid series. I really wanted to read this, but what's cover price on this? $4. I hate the current price of comics. It's insane. I'm really hoping when comics are available again, the direct market comes back. I hope they do an overhaul. I hope they go back to cheap comics. Just who cares if the page... Like, you can have your prestigious books. If you need to have your high-quality pages, fine, you can do that for some books. But have your core titles just be on paper stock, on newsprint. Make them a couple of bucks at most, and I'll be so happy. Too expensive. But to find this in the cheap bins, yes. All right, then what else do I got here? I got a few more comics and 2 magazines I'm dying to show off. I found some more of these DC Universe variants. Here's Steel #15. DC Universe logo. That's what makes them different. The only thing that's different than the regular print run. A weird title, Steel. I have no idea what's happening on this cover, but there you go. Supergirl #4. DC Universe variant. Gary Frank cover, I do believe. Great artist. I don't know what's happening here. Supergirl's a little risque. I don't know. But DC Universe. It's all about that logo, right? Superman 118. I remember I got this out of a Half Price Books 50-cent run. On the bottom, you got to squat down, hurt your legs, and look at those bottom books. That was in there, and I felt very rewarded for my knee pain. And then I love Kyle Rayner Green Lantern. I love the Ron Mars series, so I was really happy to find a couple DC Universe variants. This is from the comic show I went to, and I just dug these out of the cheapy bins. So happy. Green Lantern 68 and 52. Oh, so cool. And then last but not least, I got 2 magazines to show off. I got this. These are both out of the big comic book buyout I did, right? And they had these 2 random issues of things. We have Hero Illustrated #1. This was the big rival magazine to Wizard in the 90s. I didn't have the first issue. I had some random issues of this, but the first issue... That's cool to have. That's Dr. Mirage, I believe, from Valiant Comics. Just nostalgic fun for me. The 90s is nostalgic for me. I was happy to pick this up. And then, this is a real buried gem. This was in the big comic collection. They had Comic Book Collector #5, excuse me, from 1993. So this is right in my wheelhouse, and I started collecting 92, 93, but more importantly, it has this Jack Kirby interview. And it is raw. It's unedited. And by that I mean it's a phone interview. And Kirby's wife, Roz, is all just like listening the entire time. And early in the interview, when Jack starts to fumble or she wants to clarify something, she just jumps in. So a lot of this interview is Roz Kirby just speaking on her husband's behalf, clarifying what her husband means. Because Jack Kirby, for all his brilliance and all his creativity, not the best communicator, even in when he was younger, let alone in the later part of his life. So this was a fascinating... If it was edited, I'm shocked at all, because there's a lot of rough parts in the interview where there's a lot of stumbling back and forth and trying to figure out what people mean. Fascinating look. If you can find this anywhere, I can find this on eBay. Pick this, or maybe it's reprinted online somewhere. I'm sure the Kirby Collector has this issue somewhere, or this interview reprinted. But this is fascinating reading. Really cool to pick up. And that's what I have this time, people. That is what I have. I've gotten a lot of new subscribers lately. Thank you so much, everybody. Captain Strange Life, Hans, go check out his channel. He did me very nice and said some very nice things about me recently. I very much appreciate it. Thank you, Hans. And just take care of each other, all right? It's crazy times, it's scary times. Stay in, read your comics. Be good, everybody. I'll see you soon.